Let's transition to H-Town. Let's talk about the Houston Rockets as Kevin Durant is on the move yet again. This time, he is taking his talents to Houston as the Houston Rockets are acquiring two-time NBA champion Kevin Durant from the Phoenix Suns. This stole the news cycle Sunday, a few hours before Game 7 of the NBA Finals between the Pacers and Thunder. So the Houston Rockets, they get Kevin Durant in this deal. The Phoenix Suns, they get Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the 10th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft. That's Wednesday. And 5 second-round picks. And the odds to win the 2026 NBA title, prior to the Rockets trading for Kevin Durant, their odds were at a plus 1,800. After the Kevin Durant trade, they are now plus 850 to win the NBA title next season. So, do I believe that the Rockets trading for Kevin Durant makes them legitimate NBA championship contenders next season? Yes and no. I have mixed feelings about the Houston Rockets now that they have traded for Kevin Durant. Obviously, when you look at the Houston Rockets from last year, they finished the regular season 52-30. They were second in the Western Conference in their overall record and their seed in the Western Conference. They went 7 games in the first round and got eliminated by Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. But going into the playoffs last year, nobody truly thought that the Houston Rockets were NBA championship contenders. And the reason why most of us believed that the Rockets were not NBA championship contenders was because they did not have a true number one option on their team last year. And now that they have traded for Kevin Durant answers all of the questions that the Houston Rockets had as a basketball team last year in the regular season and in the playoffs. From an offensive standpoint, he is elite. When you think about Kevin Durant is a 2-time NBA champion, a 2-time NBA Finals MVP. He's won an NBA MVP award. He's a 15-time NBA All-Star, and he has 3 straight seasons averaging 25 points per game on 50% shooting and shooting 40% from three-point range. The brother, for his career, he averages 27 points per game on 50% shooting. And when I think about the greatest scorers in NBA history, I think about the late, great Kobe Bryant. I think about Michael Jordan. I think about Carmelo Anthony. I think about Allen Iverson. Kevin Durant deserves to be at that list and at the top of that list when it comes to all-time great scorers. That's how great and elite of a scorer Kevin Durant is. And you look at Kevin Durant. This is on jumpers in the half court this past season. Kevin Durant shot 49%, which is first in the NBA on jumpers in the half court. The Houston Rockets last year, as a team, they shot 37% on jumpers in the half court, which was ranked 22nd in the NBA. So Kevin Durant, instantly, when he steps foot in Houston, he elevates the Houston Rockets and makes them a better basketball team offensively. Because last year, in the playoffs, they did not have a number one option. and someone they can give the ball to in clutch moments and say, take me to the promised land. Kevin Durant answers that immediately for the Houston Rockets. And I love also the fact that Ime Udoka, the head coach for the Houston Rockets, he wanted Kevin Durant. It's been reported that Ime Udoka went to the front office and demanded the front office to go and get Kevin Durant. And I think Ime Udoka is a top 5 NBA head coach. So I love Ime Udoka as the Rockets head coach. And I do believe Kevin Durant makes the Houston Rockets a much better basketball team that should be taken seriously as we head into next season. But the question for me and why I have mixed feelings about the Rockets acquiring Kevin Durant is because how much better does acquiring Kevin Durant make the Houston Rockets? Now you look at the odds for next season. After the Rockets traded for Kevin Durant, the Rockets now have the second best odds to win the NBA championship next season. And that's where I say, let's pump the brakes on this Houston Rockets team being the biggest threats to the OKC Thunder in the Western Conference and in the entire NBA. Let's pump the brakes. Because I'm looking at this Houston Rockets team, right? This is their potential starting lineup. Fred VanVleet, Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith Jr., and Alfred Sengun. And you look at their bench, right? Let's look at their bench and their bench players. You got Eason, Shepard, Adams, and Whitmore off the bench. Does that sound like a team that you can for sure say would beat the Denver Nuggets with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray? Does that sound like a team that would for sure beat an LA Lakers team with Luka Doncic and LeBron James? Does that sound like a team that would beat the Dallas Mavericks in a series? Because we're going to assume that Dallas will draft Cooper Flag. So a team that has Kyrie Irving, because Kyrie Irving will be back at some point next season. So Kyrie Irving, Cooper Flag, and Anthony Davis. Are we sure that the Houston Rockets are better than the Dallas Mavericks? Are we sure that the Houston Rockets are better than a Golden State Warriors team that has Steph Curry, who's the greatest shooter God has ever created? Are we sure that the Rockets are better than those teams I just named and the Warriors, Mavericks, Lakers, or the Denver Nuggets? Are we sure? I'm not so sure. I'm hearing everybody praising and congratulating the Houston Rockets, and basically most people are punching the Houston Rockets ticket to the Western Conference Finals. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? What's going on? And I love Kevin Durant. Again, Kevin Durant is one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. But since he left Golden State, as elite as he is as a scorer, Kevin Durant has not done anything in the playoffs. Now, in 1 year, he got to the second round against the Milwaukee Bucks. That series went 7 games. I know Kyrie Irving got injured in that series. James Harden was not 100%. That was in 2021. In 2022, he lost in the first round to Tatum and Brown. And he got swept. The Celtics swept the Nets in 2022. In 2023, he was in Phoenix with Devin Booker, and I'm not sure if Bradley Beal was there yet, but I believe Bradley Beal was there in 2023. They lost in the second round against the Denver Nuggets. And then in 2024, Kevin Durant lost to Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round. And last year, that Phoenix Suns team was pathetic. They were terrible last year. And the Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant experiment was a complete colossal failure. It was the worst big three ever assembled. So I love Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. He is one of the best players in NBA history. And even at age 37, Kevin Durant is a true bucket getter and can get any shot anywhere on the court that he wants. But since he departed Golden State, Kevin Durant has not had any playoff success. Which leads me to my next point. Even though Kevin Durant won 2 NBA championships in Golden State, even though Kevin Durant won 2 NBA Finals MVP awards in Golden State, and in my eyes, I believe Kevin Durant was the best player on those Warriors teams. That's up for debate, but I believe he was the best player on those Warriors teams. Most people believe that Kevin Durant was a bus rider. He didn't drive the bus in Golden State. And so because of that, and I actually agree with that to some degree, like I feel like on one hand, he was a bus rider because in order for him to win his championships, he had to go to Golden State. I believe that Kevin Durant, me personally, could have won a championship with Russell Westbrook in OKC. Hell, they had the Warriors down 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals before Kevin Durant departed OKC for Golden State. But that's another story for another day. But to me, he was a bus rider because he left OKC to go to Golden State. But because he was the best player on those Warriors teams, in my eyes, it's kind of hard to say like whether or not he was driving the bus. But it is for sure, if he goes to Houston and captures an NBA championship, Kevin Durant would not only be the best player on a championship team, that's his team, he also would be the leader of the Houston Rockets. I mean, I'm looking at this Rockets team. Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith, Alfred Şengün. The only veteran on this team is Fred VanVleet. Now, I like Fred VanVleet's veteran presence in that locker room. VanVleet kind of reminds me of a Alex Caruso. Like what Alex Caruso is to OKC, that's kind of what Fred VanVleet's role should be moving forward with the Houston Rockets. But if he wins a championship with the Houston Rockets, I believe that would elevate Kevin Durant into that top 10 NBA players of all time conversation. He has to win a championship outside of Golden State in order for his legacy to be solidified. If Kevin Durant does not win another championship, he will go down as one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. And we know his talent warrants him to be considered a top 10 player in NBA history. But he has to win a championship outside of Golden State to be recognized as a top 10 player all time in my eyes. And the worst thing for Kevin Durant was the fact that the Golden State Warriors have won an NBA championship since he departed Golden State, when the Warriors beat the Celtics a few years ago in the NBA Finals, and Steph Curry won his first NBA Finals MVP. So not only has Kevin Durant not won anything since he departed Golden State or had any success in the playoffs, the Warriors had the nerve, the audacity to win another NBA championship once he left. And so it's going to be interesting to see. Again, overall, I do believe the Houston Rockets adding Kevin Durant makes them better. How much better remains to be seen. I'm not ready to say that the Houston Rockets are better than the Denver Nuggets. I'm not ready to say that the Houston Rockets are better than the LA Lakers. I'm not ready to say that the Houston Rockets are better than the Dallas Mavericks. I'm not ready to say that the Houston Rockets are better than the Golden State Warriors. I'm not ready to say that the Houston Rockets are better than the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm not quite there yet. I have to see how it all plays out. But I'll definitely be watching in the NBA and watching what's going on in H-Town. So Houston, we do not have a problem. They will be better with Kevin Durant, but how much better remains to be seen. As for the Suns, real quick before I get out of here on this move, they did bring in Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks. I hate the fact that the Rockets lost Dillon Brooks because Dillon Brooks is a great 3-and-D player, and Jalen Green has a lot of potential. He has tremendous upside, but last year in the NBA playoffs in the first round in the Rockets-Warriors series, in 5 of the 7 games played, Jalen Green scored single digits. He scored single digits. So, yes, Jalen Green has tremendous upside and he has a lot of potential, but he needs to develop a better work ethic and improve his game overall. I'm not so sure Jalen Green's game can coexist with the Devin Booker. And that's another thing. When it comes to the Phoenix Suns, if you are Devin Booker, for his career, he averages 26 points per game. And he shoots, trying to pull it up here, 46% from the floor. Devin Booker is one of the best scorers in the NBA. And I believe that the Phoenix Suns have failed Devin Booker since CP3 and DeAndre Ayton left Phoenix. And one of the questions going into the NBA season next year is going to be, at what point does Devin Booker become fed up and frustrated to the point where he asks or demands to be traded out of Phoenix? I think Phoenix has one more opportunity to get it right with Devin Booker